Hello, and welcome to the 7 Secrets. Today, you're going to learn the 7 secrets our clients use to get 3 to 5 Ivy League grad school acceptances. Who this is for? This is for everyone who is determined to attend Harvard, Stanford, University of Pennsylvania, Columbia, Princeton, Dartmouth, Yale, Cornell, Brown, University of Chicago, MIT, Berkeley, or other top graduate schools for a professional degree such as an MBA, MPP, MPA, MIA, JD, MUP, MED, MSW, joint degree, etc. That's a lot of degrees. If you're interested in attending a top graduate school to take your career and life to the next level, this is for you. In the next hour, you're going to learn how to apply to the most prestigious schools and get better results than if you apply to second and third tier schools. You're going to learn how to convince the admissions committee that you are prepared for the Ivy League classroom, even if you have a lower than average GMAT, GRE, or LSAT score, without having to retake the test again and again. You're also going to learn how to get the admissions committee, which I will sometimes refer to as the AdCom, to happily overlook a few blemishes on your undergraduate transcript, even though you also have a low GPA. And by that, I mean something that's under 3.6. You'll also learn how to have the time, insight, and motivation to write outstanding essays, even if you are not a strong writer, even if you're uncomfortable writing about yourself, and even if you hate bragging about your accomplishments. You'll learn how to have the guidance and support you need so that you can keep the many moving parts of your application process organized and keep yourself encouraged and focused on your singular goal of getting into the best graduate school you can. My promise to you is a 7-step philosophy for getting an Ivy League business school, policy school, law school, or any other kind of top professional school to admit you. And just to be clear, there is nothing for sale today. Does this sound like you? Feeling completely in the dark about how competitive your profile actually is for your dream schools. You've spent months or even years researching and wondering if it's even worth applying. You feel like you're competing with an infinite number of superhuman applicants, and you don't know how to stand out from the crowd. You are fretting over the GMAT, GRE, or LSAT, losing hours of your life to studying, and you're delaying the very important other parts of your application because you don't yet have that great score. You're lurking for hours on forums, frantically Googling acceptance rates at your dream schools and wondering how to find reliable, trustworthy, expert advice on the application process. Maybe you're racking your brain trying to figure out how to tie your multiple interests together so that you don't sound scattered and unfocused in your essays and interviews. Maybe you feel overwhelmed by all the moving parts of the application process and you're worried that you're going to miss important deadlines, events, and opportunities because you just don't know what you don't know. Do you feel like there's an invisible game being played when it comes to applying to Ivy League graduate schools? The real problem, it's not you. The real problem is you haven't learned the secrets. Once you learn the secrets, you're going to take standardized tests no more than 3 times, and you will confidently apply to your dream schools, even if your score is low or lower than average. You will no longer worry about your low GPA or those blemishes on your transcript because you will have a proven game plan for drawing attention to your academic strengths rather than your mistakes and missteps in college. You'll have a list of strategic actions to take between now and the next 12 months that will mitigate or completely obliterate your weaknesses, boost your application profile, and turbocharge your candidacy for your target schools. You'll know exactly which stories to tell in your essays and how to tell those stories in a juicy, memorable way that will have the admissions committee begging you to come to their school. Once you really learn the secrets, you'll know why it's important to speak, write, and act like an insider who knows they belong at an Ivy League school. That's going to compel every admissions officer you encounter, whether that's in person, online, or at the decision-making roundtable, to think of you as a clear yes for their school. You'll know what it takes to submit outstanding applications for the most prestigious, competitive, and exclusive fellowships and scholarships, even if you already have all the money to pay for the school saved up. You'll know why it's imperative to be more efficient and effective with your time, and why it's important to be able to submit and complete applications for 5 to 7 schools in less time than most people spend struggling to apply to just 1 or 2 schools. That invisible game of getting in, it has clear rules for how to win, and you can win that game with a streamlined, proven system for applying to multiple Ivy League graduate schools. The one thing you need to know, the 7 simple secrets I'm going to teach you today, they must be combined and executed excellently in order to get admitted to Ivy League grad schools while working smarter, worrying less, and getting better admissions results. I'm going to walk you through exactly what those secrets are today. Meet Kanisha Grayson. That's me. I am the founder and CEO of The Art of Applying. I'm a Harvard Business School MBA and a Harvard Kennedy School MPA. That means I have my Master's of Business Administration and my Master's of Public Administration from Harvard Business School and Harvard Kennedy School. So I'm a joint degree graduate. My GPA was a 3.5 and my GMAT was a 620. I went to Pomona College in California. I had a wonderful time in college. And a little bit of background information is that I grew up the oldest daughter of 2, me and my little sister, and our parents, they grew up as migrant farm workers, picking fruit as children throughout their whole adolescence all the way until high school. Both my mom and my dad received scholarships to attend college in Austin, Texas. And those scholarships were because they were migrant farm worker youth. And they met there, had me, had my sister, and we grew up in Austin, Texas. We grew up in a high crime, low income neighborhood where going to college was not the norm. However, I did go to college. I went to Pomona College and then I went to graduate school at Harvard. And while I was at Harvard, I received a $10,000 grant from Harvard Business School to start this business. I am the leading expert for non-traditional applicants and joint degree program applicants. The average total merit scholarships for my clients, and I'd say about 60% of our Application Accelerator clients receive merit scholarships. And of those who do receive merit scholarships, the average total award is $151,000. About the art of applying, here are a few photos of people on our team. We don't have their names there. We just have their very nice photos and where they went to graduate school. So here's some of them. And on the following slides, you'll see more people on our team. It was founded by me in 2010 with that $10,000 grant from Harvard Business School. We've had over 1,000 paying clients in the years we've been in business. We have over 8,000 subscribers to our free newsletter. Every month, over 10,000 people visit theartofapplying.com for our advice and guidance. And we have helped our clients earn over $20 million in scholarships. What makes us different? Well, first of all, I'm really proud to say that I have grown the art of applying from $0, me and my laptop, to the largest Black-owned graduate admissions consulting firm in the world. And it is also the largest woman of color-owned graduate admissions consulting firm in the world. And we help people of all backgrounds from all over the world. Past clients are eager to pay it forward. So some of our consultants are actually people who used to be our clients, went off to their dream schools after working with us, and then they returned to the art of applying to work on the team. And that makes me so happy. We have high-touch engagements. Every client who comes to work with us receives a dedicated one-on-one consultant that you can turn to at any point with any question that you have. We also have very involved leadership. I am a fully present and engaged founder and CEO. I did not just start the art of applying and then just kick my feet up and let everybody else do everything. I am present. I interact with the clients. I train the consultants. I know what is happening with every single client that my company works with. We also have a community focus. So in addition to your one-on-one dedicated consultant that you work with, our clients also know one another. They study together, they share resources, and they cheer each other on. You're actually going to meet a number of our clients today during this presentation. So stay tuned and hear about their experience of learning the 7 secrets, putting the 7 secrets into action, and working with the art of applying to achieve their grad school dreams. At the Art of Applying, we have an ROI mindset. That means we have a mindset of helping our clients get a return on investment, the investment that they make to work with us. We've helped our clients earn over $20 million in scholarships. Also, we have proven results that we back up with our green light guarantee. All right, let's get into the 7 secrets. There are 7 secrets that you have to learn in order to efficiently apply and gain admission to Ivy League grad schools and other top grad schools while enjoying more free time during your application process. I'm going to walk you through all 7 of the secrets during this session. The secret number 1 is honesty is the best policy. The strategy of authenticity and honesty is at the heart of everything we do at the Art of Applying. We want you to be the best applicant you possibly can be and have everything in your application reflect that. We never want you to pursue any personal or professional goal that you don't actually care about or don't actually want to achieve, whether that's a school acceptance, a fellowship that you are applying for, or some other kind of award. And why is that? Why is honesty and authenticity so important to us at the Art of Applying? I call it the mirror. I believe that the way you do one thing in your life, your career, can affect the way you do everything. And so it's important that we remember that the way you handle your application process, it often acts as a mirror for how you operate when under pressure in your entire life. Let's meet another client. Let's meet Liz. Liz and I actually went to college together, and we are friends from college. She had 12 years of experience working in education, 35 years old with a 3.49 GPA. And she says, you, Kanisha, you've inspired me and countless others to dream big and apply for these very competitive universities. And the reason why I'm highlighting Liz under our honesty is the best policy secret number 1 is that Liz came to me and she was considering applying to lower ranked schools. So she had applied to University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign's Education Policy Organization and Leadership Program. But she really harbored in her heart a dream of going to Harvard, just like her friend Kanisha from college had done. And I said, Liz, then we absolutely have to apply to Harvard. She worked with us to apply to Harvard and she was admitted. Liz is heading to the Harvard Graduate School of Education's Technology, Innovation, and Education program. Let's meet Ashley. Ashley says, I wanted to go to the next level. I didn't have a support system and I really did need one. It seemed as if they, meaning other admissions consulting companies, had a rubric of, you have to do this, you have to do that. One thing that really stuck out to me is that you, meaning Kanisha, you were like, come as you are and I'll make you great. This is a good example of someone really appreciating how we tell our clients to come to us as they are, and our job at the Art of Applying is to help them show their best, most self-expressed, most polished, cohesive, coherent, compelling case for their candidacy. It's not about trying to become someone that you think the admissions committee is looking for. So Ashley, 27, her GPA was under 3.2. Her GRE score was also low, under 310 combined. Her GPA was her GMAT was under 500. So we've got a lot of things not going great. Low GPA, low GRE, low GMAT. But we still were able to work with Ashley because Ashley did the work, and Ashley was admitted to Indiana University Kelley School of Business with a full consortium scholarship plus healthcare covered. She was also admitted to Washington University Olin School of Business with a full Forte scholarship, as well as the Ohio State Fisher College of Business with a $43,000 scholarship. Wow. The next secret is aiming high can make it easier to apply and get in. All right, so why do we aim for higher schools? Well, let's talk about why people don't aim for higher schools. I really think there's only 2 reasons why that you are not applying to the very best schools. Number 1, either you're letting imposter syndrome hold you back and you don't think you are actually worthy of going to an excellent school. Or 2, you think you are worthy, but you fear that if you apply, you won't get in. Let's address both of these problems at the same time. First of all, you need to know you are not going to get in because of your GMAT, GRE, or LSAT score. You are not going to get in because of the prestige or lack of prestige of where you went to college. What you are selling when you apply to an Ivy League grad school is the total lifetime value of the accomplishments you will achieve and the contribution you will make to the school and to society at large once you have that elite education. So when you aim high and you confidently apply to a top graduate school and you submit an outstanding application, regardless of your GPA and test scores, what you're doing is you actually reassure the admissions committee that you are one of the best of the best. Schools at the very, very top, they actually have some flexibility to take a chance on a few wildcard applicants every season. Schools in the middle tier that are clawing their way up the ranking, they really don't have as much flexibility. So if you're a non-traditional wildcard or dreamer applicant, you sometimes have a better chance of getting into a top school like Harvard Business School or Harvard Kennedy School than you would at a lower ranked school that has to jealously protect its ranking position. Let's meet Fernando. Fernando says, "It would not be possible without the support of my coaching team at The Art of Applying. Navigating the application process, it just wouldn't have been possible without your guidance." Fernando had a 3.1 GPA and a 610 GMAT, and he was a little bit on the older side when he came to us. He'd already been turned away by multiple admissions consulting companies, and when he told me his story, I thought, oh, you sound awesome. We can definitely help you as long as you show up and do the work. Fernando was very, very persistent. He applied with us to over 11 schools, and to our chagrin and his disappointment, he was not admitted to any of the schools he applied to with us that first round. But he did all the work in the program, and so he was able to avail himself of our green light guarantee, meaning that he got the green light on all his applications that he was working on with us, and he didn't get in anywhere. So he availed himself of the green light guarantee, worked with us the consecutive season, and he was admitted to Northwestern University Kellogg School of Management with an $80,000 scholarship. So even though Fernando had to reapply and use the green light guarantee, which is rare, things turned out really, really well for him. All right, we also have Letitia. She says, "The biggest thing that I got out of the program was finding a way to tell that story. If you are passionate and hungry and you know in your heart of hearts that you deserve to be there." Letitia had a 3.67 GPA, and her LSAT score was on the low side, lower than her target law schools. However, we were able to help her get accepted to Northwestern for law school with a $28,000 scholarship. Let's talk about secret number 3. Aspiration beats achievement. So let's talk about the old way of applying to grad school. The old way is you had to have this super high GPA, work at all these really fancy blue chip companies or global organizations. You have to get a really high test score, and then hopefully you get in somewhere. Okay, that's the old way. The new way of applying to graduate school that The Art of Applying really uses this strategy and philosophy is that you combine passion, persistence, performance, potential, and personality, as well as perspective. And that leads to outstanding results. So those are the shields of Harvard Business School and Harvard Kennedy School, which are my alma maters. All right, so what does a successful Ivy League application consist of? Well, it consists of evidence of your academic preparation for the Ivy League classroom. Also, you want to have diverse, impactful experiences, personal experiences, and professional experiences. You want to make sure that your letters of recommendation are congruent with the other parts of your application. Of course, you want to submit outstanding essays, and then you want to make sure you have a great balance between standing out from the crowd, but also fitting in with your target school's culture. All right, let's meet Sammy. Sammy's a great example of an applicant, a very young applicant, only 21 years old, which is another reason why the aspiration beats achievement is so important, because if you're only a senior in college, you may not have that many achievements as compared to people who've been working 2 to 7 years before they apply to grad school. And Sammy says, "I couldn't have done any of this without the Art of Applying team. Thank you all so much." And we sent Sammy to Harvard Divinity School with a full tuition scholarship. She was also admitted to Yale Divinity School with a full scholarship, University of Chicago with a full scholarship, Duke with a scholarship covering 25% of tuition, and Emory with a $17,550 scholarship. Whoa, way to go, Sammy. Let's meet Chitra. And she said, "I figured out it wasn't impossible to meet the rest of my goals. The Art of Applying was a big part of that." Chitra was only 23, 2.5 GPA from college, and only a 155 LSAT. And she was admitted to Indiana University for law school with a $30,000 merit award. Also, University of Illinois at Chicago, John Marshall Law School, as well as DePaul with $35,000. So let's do a quick recap. So now, so far, we know that honesty is the best policy, Aiming high makes it easier to apply, and aspiration beats achievement. All right, so now we're going to look at how to mitigate your weaknesses, tackle the essays, and get everything done without getting overwhelmed, burned out, or giving up. Secret number 4, any weakness can be overcome. You have the power, the opportunity, and the responsibility to determine how ready the admissions committee thinks you are for the Ivy League experience. Contrary action means taking an action in any and every area of your application or your profile that tells the exact opposite story of the weakness that you are worried about. So what are some examples of contrary action? That might be taking supplemental coursework. That might be taking the test more than one time and getting a better score on your subsequent tests that you take than the first one. It might look like doing additional volunteer work that shows that you have a commitment to public service. Contrary action is always about directing the admissions committee's attention away from, oh, they just have this weakness, to look at what I'm doing to show that, yeah, this is a weakness in this area, but I actually have been working on that weakness in a different way. Now let's talk about the wounded warrior. Your imperfect past is what has made you the courageous, resilient person you are today. And your job is to show the admissions committee and yourself that you are 100% ready to make the most of an Ivy League education. You need to make the argument that the wounded warrior that you are actually needs this amazing education and opportunity more than someone who did everything perfectly. Meet Sultan. Sultan says, I applied to 3 schools, but I didn't get into any of them, including my dream school. This time around, I just didn't want to take no for an answer. So I worked with the art of applying. I put Sultan here in our wounded warrior area because Sultan was a re-applicant. Sultan originally applied on his own to Harvard Business School and he was not admitted. And he said, you know what? I want to do it right this time. He worked with us in the Application Accelerator and had phenomenal results. He was admitted to University of California, Berkeley with a partial scholarship, Yale University, University of Virginia, Darden with a 50% scholarship, Dartmouth Tuck with a full ride scholarship, Duke with a partial scholarship, as well as to Harvard Business School, which is where he went for business school, where he attended, and where he has graduated from. Awesome, Sultan. Congrats. Meet Ellie. Ellie says, sometimes you need an external view to get to really see what are your pain points. What might someone consider as kind of questionable? So just having an objective view from someone of myself, I knew that you, meaning the art of applying, could help me with that. Ellie came to us as a re-applicant. She was already 30 years old. She had a low GRE score and a fine GPA, but a very low GMAT score. She was a business analyst and she'd gone to University of Houston for college. We helped Ellie get into the University of Texas at Austin McCombs with a full consortium scholarship, as well as Rice University with a full scholarship, as well as Boston University with a $50,000 scholarship. All right, secret number 5. Essays are almost everything. Everything else in your application can be perfect. You can have perfect grades, perfect test score. But if your essays are lackluster, you will not get in. You need to do your best on the other parts of the application, but also start as early as possible, gathering your essay prompts, brainstorming what you'll write about, and drafting your essays. The essays are where you have the most control in your application to tell your story, make your case, and shine. Let's meet Zoe. Zoe's not her real name, but Zoe's a great example of how essays are almost everything. Zoe had a really low LSAT score and her GPA was only 3.37. So a 150 LSAT and a 3.37 GPA and only 22 years old, right? But we were able to help her get into New York Law School with a $10,000 scholarship, Michigan State with a $10,000 Dean Scholarship, Rutgers with a $9,000 scholarship, and St. Thomas Law School with a full tuition scholarship. So let's hear from Zoe. She says, you guys will be there to help me. You'll be there to support me getting into law school, and not just law school, but more specifically, a law school that I would really want to go to and where I could be happy. And so Even though she had a lowish GPA and a really low LSAT score, we were able to help Zoe get into law school and pursue her graduate school dreams. All right, let's hear from Sarah, an international applicant with a very, very low LSAT score and a very low GPA, 2.65. And she says, I just think it's refreshing when you have someone sign off on your work and say, hey, this is great, and this is what you should focus on. And we sent Sarah to George Washington University International and Comparative Law LLM program. Secret number 6, success is not sequential. So what do we mean by success is not sequential? Most applicants want to focus on getting a strong test score before they get help or before they start to seriously work on the other parts of their application. This is not a winning strategy. The most successful applicants reach out for help as early as possible and work on the parts of the application process in parallel. Applicants who get the best results, they study for the test, whether that's the GMAT, the GRE, or the LSAT, or the executive assessment. They do that at the same time as they work on the very important other aspects of their application. They do not arrest their application process and say, no, I will not work on other parts of the application process. I will not get help from the art of applying or from other companies. I'm just going to focus on my test and then I'll worry about everything else after that. That is not a winning strategy. Let's meet Anthony. This is not his real name, but we're going to call him that to protect his identity. Anthony started working with us very early in February, even though his applications weren't due until September, and then some of them weren't due until the following January. But he started nice and early with us in February. He was only 23 years old, 3.49 GPA, 163 verbal, 158 quant, so pretty good GRE score, program manager at a corporation, and he had gone to NYU undergrad studying East Asian studies. We're going to learn about Anthony's results on the next slide. And Anthony says, going through the process with the art of applying really helped me to solidify what my interests are, what my value proposition is for being in those programs, and all of that has allowed me to be better able to market myself. All right, let's look at his amazing results. He was admitted to Wharton and their Lauder program with an $80,000 fellowship across 2 years, as well as an $18,000 foreign language and area studies fellowship, plus a $15,000 stipend. And that's where he is headed off for graduate school. He is so excited. He was also admitted to Columbia with a $160,000 fellowship. He was admitted to Harvard Kennedy School, University of Virginia Darden with a full scholarship, University of Michigan Ross with a $50,000 fellowship, potentially renewable for the second year. He was admitted to Cornell with a $40,000 scholarship, UCLA, and then he was admitted to Asia School of Business with a full tuition scholarship. Whoa, go Anthony, enjoy your time at Wharton doing the MBA and the Lauder program. All right, let's meet Vida, an international applicant from India. She says, no one will ever tell you to apply with those scores. That's what people were telling her. But I did. And I like the fact that my consultant was able to see things from my perspective, my problems, and where I see myself. They shared my vision. And that's when I realized, yeah, I'm doing the right thing by coming to your team. Vida was an international applicant. Her GPA was low, 3.1, and her GRE was really low, 153 verbal, 145 quant. But we were able to help her gain acceptances to several places. Georgetown University with an $18,000 Global Initiative Scholarship and an $18,000 ESIA tuition fellowship. UC San Diego with a full scholarship and student health insurance. George Washington University, American University, and NYU. Whoa, go Vida. Secret number 7 is invest in mentoring. Every person applying to grad school or pursuing any big goal should have a mentor. A mentor provides several important things: new ideas, expertise, encouragement, and accountability. Even today, you've learned new things that you would not know if you had not made time to learn and watch from this presentation. A good mentor will give you great ideas and make sure you act on them. A great mentor will also put you with a group of powerful people who are all working towards similar goals. High potential people working together toward a similar goal multiplies everyone's effectiveness exponentially. In my diverse and collaborative client community, we have people earning $500,000 a year, working in finance, and they're working on their applications right alongside people earning $60,000 a year, working for a nonprofit. And they're all learning from each other. They're not competing with each other. Everyone wins. The difference between the people who get good enough results with their applications and the people who get those head over heels, exciting, life-changing, happy dance results are that the second group of people consider themselves worthy enough to take a risk and invest in themselves, invest in their future. They know that if they aren't willing to believe in and invest in themselves, they can't really expect anyone else to be. Let's meet Samuel. That's not his real name. He is an international applicant from sub-Saharan Africa. And Samuel says, when I look back, working with the art of applying was a big investment to make at that point. But now having a full ride scholarship to the 3 schools I wanted to go to that I felt were beyond my reach, that investment is just a drop in the bucket. Look at his GPA, 3.17, just a 640 GMAT. And he was admitted to University of Virginia Darden with a full fellowship, University of Michigan Ross with a full fellowship, Cornell University with a full scholarship. What? As well as admitted to Carnegie Mellon. That's amazing. We are so proud of you and so excited for you, Samuel. Let's meet Lauren. Lauren says you just have to bet on yourself. It's definitely comforting knowing that others are going through the same process as you. Lauren had a 650 GMAT. That's not that high, but she was admitted to Wharton, Northwestern, UCLA with a full scholarship, Yale with a $90,000 fellowship, and NYU with a full fellowship. Whoa, go Lauren. And then we meet Brianna. Her story is amazing. Brianna was really afraid to make the investment to do the Application Accelerator. And she really wanted our help, but was scared. Like, will this work for me? Will I get results? And Brianna took a leap of faith and she worked with the art of applying. And now she says, I feel like I won the lottery because my whole life is going to be different after this. I'm going to go to graduate school absolutely for free. I still pinch myself because I feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world. Brianna had just a 3.3 GPA, but with our help, she earned the Stanford Knight Hennessy Scholars Program scholarship, that full ride, super competitive scholarship to go to Stanford University Graduate School of Education. She also was a finalist at the Harvard Graduate School of Education for a half tuition scholarship. She also got into Columbia's Teachers College with a $5,000 scholarship, University of Michigan School of Education with a full tuition plus stipend scholarship, plus NYU Steinhardt School of Culture, Education, and Human Development with a $10,000 scholarship. Brianna chose to take her full ride to Stanford. Who wouldn't? And she's there now having an amazing educational experience and feeling like she won the lottery. But she didn't win the lottery. What she did is she took a risk and she invested in herself. She got help. She did the work and she reaped the results. And I'm so proud of you, Brianna. So today I promised that I would teach you how to apply to the most prestigious schools and get better results than if you apply to second and third tier schools. I also promised I would teach you how to convince the admissions committee that you're prepared for the Ivy League classroom, even if you have a lower than average GMAT, GRE, or LSAT score, without having to retake the test again and again. Also, how to get the admissions committee to happily overlook a few blemishes on your undergraduate transcript, even if you also have a low GPA. Remember, that's that contrary action that we were talking about. We also talked about how to have the time, insight, and motivation to write outstanding essays, even if you're not a strong writer and even if you're uncomfortable writing about your accomplishments. And I talked about how to get the guidance and support you need so that you can keep the many moving parts of your application process organized and keep yourself encouraged and focused on your singular goal of getting into the best graduate school you can. You don't have to do this alone. So what do you need to win? Let's remember, honesty is the best policy, okay? Do not pursue schools, do not pursue goals, personal, professional goals that you don't really believe in. Be your most honest, authentic, self-expressed version of yourself. Aiming high can make it easier to apply. That doesn't mean only apply to dream schools, but definitely do apply to some dream schools. Have a balance of schools. Don't count yourself out from Harvard and Stanford and those other really fancy schools because you're like, oh, they'll never let someone in like me. Well, every year they let in a few wild cards who don't fit their applicant profile. And why not you? If you get the right help, have the right strategy, submit an outstanding application, you have a chance. Number 3, aspiration beats achievement. Even if you are quite young, or even if you are looking to make a switch from the private sector to the public sector, or from the public sector to the private sector, it's not that you have to have worked at all these really fancy companies and that's the only way you have a chance. You also have the opportunity to make a case of your clear career vision, your aspiration that can beat achievement. Number 4, any weakness can be overcome. Maybe you're on the older side. Maybe you're on the younger side. Maybe you're a reapplicant. Maybe you have a low test score. Maybe you have a low GPA. Maybe you have all those things combined. That doesn't mean that going to a top grad school is out of the possibility for you. It is not out of the possibility. It can happen. Number 5, essays are almost everything. Your test scores matter. Your grades matter. Your letters of recommendation matter. But you know what you have the most control over? Your story. And essays are almost everything. And you make sure that you give your essays the time that they deserve. And how do you do that? You do that by remembering that success is not sequential. Do not work on one discrete part of the application at a time. Do not say, I'm going to wait until I have this really phenomenal test score or until I have an acceptable test score before I move on to the other parts of the application. Don't say, oh, I'm going to get GMAT final or GRE final before I reach out for help from the Art of Applying or from my colleagues at work. No, get help as soon as possible so that you can work on the very important parts of the application in parallel with a steady test-taking strategy. Success is not sequential, and it's not a neat little perfect package in a bow either. There are going to be times of setbacks, times of confusion and overwhelm, and what you want to do is invest in mentoring so that as you encounter confusing situations or unclear paths of where to go, you have an expert, not just person, but team to turn to help you navigate this process. And so now you have a choice. I talked about confusing processes and I talked about crossroads. So now you're actually at a crossroads. You can watch this presentation and say, thanks for the free advice. And that is totally your right. Or you could say, hey, I actually learned something today and I enjoyed hearing from this person about the 7 secrets to Ivy League acceptances, and they kind of resonate with me. And I also really enjoyed getting to see the faces and hear from some real clients, their stories, see their GPA, their test scores. Like, that's a lot of transparent information. Maybe I want to take it one step further instead of just watching the presentation and leaving it from here. So let's say you do want to take that second option of taking it to the next step. Here's how I can help. I have set aside some of my team's time in the next week to speak to you one-on-one about how you can apply the ideas that I taught you today to your application process starting today. All right, so the cost is free. So what is it and who is this for? First of all, this is free. So we have some things that we're looking for the people that we speak to. You must have already demonstrated high leadership potential. You must be a positive, can-do, solution-oriented person. You must be willing to make the time to do your best and take consistent action in your application process. You must be financially prepared for the process of applying to grad school. It doesn't mean that you need to have lots and lots and lots of money saved up, but you do need to understand that the process of applying to grad school, and especially top grad schools, there are expenses involved, and you need to be in a position to be able to pay for some things. It's not all going to be free, and you must be fully committed to doing everything you can to get your ideal outcome. Okay, so why are we offering these free calls with our team? Well, one, on the free 15-minute quick call, that's the first step. We're going to learn a little bit about you, and we'll let you know if we think you are a competitive candidate. So we'll answer the question, am I a competitive candidate for the schools I want to apply to, or am I not? Yes or no? Then after that 15-minute quick call, then we may invite you to have a 90-minute breakthrough call with us. So that call is also free. On the breakthrough call, we will help you and the important people in your life, so they'll be on the call too. We will help you get increased clarity about exactly what you want your application process to look like and the exact process we recommend for you to achieve your goals. At the end of that breakthrough call, if you want us to help you and if you think we're a good fit, we might invite you to be one of the clients that we take on this month in our signature program, Application Accelerator, like the people that I showed you in this presentation. All right, so let's review the steps in the process again. Step 1, watch the presentation. Check, you've done that. Great job. Step 2, book your 15-minute quick call. Step 3, after your quick call, your breakthrough coach, the person you're going to speak to, they're going to send you some testimonial videos. So they're little interview videos between me and the clients that we've worked with in our program, just like the ones I showed you in this presentation today. And the videos may be of some of the people you did see in the presentation today. You'll just watch like 2 or 3 of those videos to just hear from some of our clients. Step 4 is you're going to then, if you're invited to have a 90-minute breakthrough call, you will book your free 90-minute breakthrough call and bring the very important people in your life, whether that's your parents, whether that's your partner, whether that's a spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, anyone that you are going to be leaning on for support in this application process. That person, it's very important that they be on the call because it's a 90-minute call. We're going to cover a lot of ground. You do not want them to miss this. You do not want to be trying to rehash the call with them. Step 5, we will invite you to work with us as a client, or we'll decide we're not a good fit and we'll part ways. Totally fine. Step 6 is, let's say we do invite you to work with us as a client and you accept the invitation and you want to be a client. Step 6 is we will begin working together on a comprehensive strategy and executing that strategy to help you get into your dream school with as much funding as possible. So what are some of the benefits of speaking to me and my team for that quick call? And then if you're invited for the breakthrough call, on that breakthrough call, you'll gain increased clarity about your application process and applicant profile. You will have also increased clarity about what is working, what is not working, where you are in your application process, where it is you want to go, and what's holding you back from bridging that gap between where you are and where you want to go. Our insightful and thought-provoking questions that we'll ask you on the breakthrough call will show you where the holes are in your thinking and in your application strategy. Also, you will leave the call knowing whether you want help, knowing when it's best for you in particular to get that help, and you'll know whether you want our help. That's the presentation. If you'd like to speak to our team on one of those free quick calls, sign up below. Choose a time that works for you. Spaces are limited since the calls are free. Please show up to your call. Show up on time. Show up with an open mind, an open heart, ready to share a little bit about yourselves, ready to learn. Am I competitive? And we look forward to getting to know you. Thank you for your time today. I loved sharing the 7 secrets with you. I loved sharing a little bit about my company, about my team, and letting you hear from some of our clients. And can't wait to see you on the other side on your quick call, on your breakthrough call, and maybe as a client in the Application Accelerator. Have a great rest of your day.